Hi, my name's Brenna, and this is exactly what the video is about. Hey, I quit my job without a backup plan. Follow along to know my experience and what I did, and share yours too. So, of course, I want to tell you what I previously did. I worked as a professional engineer, so I have my professional engineering license in Illinois. And so I've been working 15 years as a professional civil engineer in the transportation area mostly, but I have done some structural work. And that's what I've been doing full time. There's a couple part time, but that's what I've been doing. So you might be wondering, like, even why I would leave that area, especially because there is a high opportunity in civil engineering. There's limited workers and a lot of money in that field, a lot of work, a lot of projects, and we're needed everywhere. So one of my main reasons for leaving was simply based off of how I feel. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I've been really starting to feel uh, burnt out and really burnt out, tired, unenthused, don't even like the work anymore to a point of where I hate the field in general. Even though it's a field that does contribute to society, it doesn't feel like that for me. So it's one of the main reasons, and I'm also not learning anything. I've lost my enthusiasm to want to learn anything. My creativity has gone way down. I feel like overall I'm taking less care of myself, my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health, and yeah, I wasn't getting the socialization that I needed at work. There were several people who had quit in the office that I worked in, and those were the people I talked to the most. And it's yeah, I just lost some of the things that I enjoyed about going to work in general, and it just started to become apparent that it really wasn't worth it to me anymore. And I was also being underpaid in the position I was in for the experience that I have. And I know I could work anywhere else and have a really nice pay bump. And I could go anywhere else as well. But I think the whole purpose is, for me, I'm just done. It doesn't interest me anymore, and I want nothing to do with it. I resist it quite a bit, and I'm not finding the resources I need to learn more information, and I don't feel connected to the people I work with, and I also could be paid more. So another area of interest, of exploration, of why I quit was um, what I was experiencing, before, during, and after. Just myself. I was experiencing a lot of physical, like, manifestations of pain, constant pain in my shoulders, my back, cold a lot. I was feeling very anxious and stressed, um, like every day. I dreaded going in. I only woke up because I knew I had to. As far as like getting up and going in, I was starting to rather work from home, and my work ethic was really suffering. And I just wasn't motivated to work. Though I was still getting my work done, I don't feel that I was honestly performing the best that I could. I don't feel um, I didn't care. I didn't care about my job anymore. I didn't care about my work. I didn't care about my integrity. And those are the things that they start to weigh on you as a person, and a person of character, is it's not always possible to push through those things. Sometimes you have to make a change and be the person that you want to be, and start putting yourself in situations and environments where you can still show up as that person. And if you start to suffer your character, maybe it's rethink this or change your mindset, of which I wasn't capable of doing. I tried a lot. But sometimes changing the environment and changing where you're at is the whole key to moving forward. And so, some of the resources I had for quitting: one, I had a counselor. I already had a counselor. I was going to her for a year prior to that, and I still have her. I just see her twice a month, and because that's that's what I can do right now on my budget. So, and I guess now I have a spouse, so that makes it a little bit easier. He helps take care of the bills for the house and utilities, and it's really wonderful to have somebody else in your life that can support you while you're making big changes and working in a new direction in your life. I found that to be very, very helpful for me. Even him just being here, having someone in the house was very helpful for my mental health as well. And other resources too was my own money. I was able to make a plan and decide when my last day was and look at how much money I needed. So I just made like spreadsheet, and I said, okay, here's what I'm currently spending. Where can I cut that down? And of course, my husband helped me with that when he said he would take over the bills for the house and utilities. I still have my own bills of my own regular just incidental expenses, and then also my own insurance and for car, my own phone, things like that, and my own food. I still pay for that for myself, and so that cut my expenses pretty much in half. And of course, I can stop spending on other things that I really don't need. Be very conscious of what I'm buying during this time, and so that was also one of the resources. I also had money saved in case both of us were without a job. We could be without a job and cover all the expenses for a good 6 months. That's what made me comfortable. And a lot of my resources for quitting is about my comfort level. Like, what makes me feel secure? What can I get by with? What's my ideal situation? What's the worst situation? And learn to compromise on something in the middle. That works for everybody, like the people I interact with, but also works for me most importantly. But there's sometimes consequences to the decisions I make that affect other people. So you want to make sure that the people you're with, your team, is on board. Like my spouse, he's on board, which is wonderful. And of course, my savings and my exit plan is I did need a plan. There's a part of me inside that needed my plan of when I was going to quit. And I had to think and get through that with myself. And when I did quit, when I was leading up to quitting, I had a lot of peace in my decision. Even without a backup plan, I had a lot of peace in my decision. And I think that's extremely important, is to be at peace with what you're doing. That kind of tells you, okay, you're ready. And that was my exit strategy. And two, part of my plan was I had enough for 12 to 15 months time off. And part of my plan too was maybe getting a part-time job if I needed to, because I feel like that was the only capacity that I had. That was my limit at the time. I was tired and I still wanted a few months off, and but if I needed to, I would get a part-time job, and that would work for me. And I didn't have a problem doing that. I just needed something that wasn't mentally taxing every day for me. That was really important. And so I, after making my budget and seeing where expenses were at, I had saved up enough in the time prior to quitting. I'm going to say I've been thinking about quitting for a long time, but I think maybe I was only saving up for somewhere between 3 and 6 months ahead of time. I know I did save up or put money aside for the emergency fund, and that came from a different area of money that I already had sitting around, so I just moved that to that fund just because I think it's important to have. And then I also, for myself, I just started limiting my expenses and what I spent money on. I also have a travel fund that I can pull from if I need to as well. But yeah, I've was able to save up money that would support me on my cut budget for 12 to 15 months. And then in that time as well, I worked for 5 weeks for the same company that I quit from, because they have sometimes some random jobs that need to be done, and I could have probably had 6 weeks or so on that job, but 5 was enough. I was tired. I don't want to be a part of this company anymore. I don't want to be part of it. And so, but the money that I did make from the 5 weeks did help me like support myself for a couple months, with a little bit higher expenses than, because I did some traveling outside the country and in the country. So yeah, that was kind of my plan so far. How long have I been off for? I've been off for, I think, overall 3 months, and I'm now starting to feel energy and motivation to start finally putting myself out there, or to start taking business and finding out what else I would want to do, my own interest. And I'm starting to get more involved in those. Like, I'm still working on house stuff and making my kitchen, not really remodeling, but like just updating it, making it look like the rest of the house. And then I've also had, past quitting experiences that I thought would also be helpful to share. I've quit this with the same company that I was working for. I had quit with them back in 2017, and I wasn't married. I didn't have anyone in my life. I lived by myself, had all my own expenses, and I had enough saved anyway. I wasn't even trying to quit. I just realized I was done. I was at that point of burnout and boringness, and I didn't like the job, and I didn't like what I was doing every day. Same stuff that I started doing anyway. But we all gotta learn, gotta take it in strides. And so in that case, I was off for 7 to 8 months before the company had called me back and said, "Hey, would you come back for us part-time? We have, one of these contract." Well, so I took that because that was the limit of my expense account, and I actually did need a job to keep myself afloat. I didn't have anything left, literally. Yeah. And then other experiences too, like when I was a lot younger in my 20s. I'm not that old, but when I was younger in my 20s, before I was graduated from college and things like that, I had quit other jobs, and I was living with people at the time, which made it easier to take a few months off because I had enough savings that I could get by. And I noticed that as a pattern. I haven't done it a whole lot. It's just there are times when you need to take that time off and you get that space and clarity, and it's like, I'm gonna go do that. And it's been helpful. It's a helpful tool to have in your pocket. I guess lessons that I've learned before and after my decision to quit. Conclusions that I've had. I guess some of my current experiences, things that I'm noticing about myself about quitting, is at first I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my life, and I'm also experiencing internal turmoil to the change that I made. Like inside, when all I've done my whole life is work and work hard and do something and be in an office or be in a chair or be at school, this thing that society's conditioned you to be is a worker, and it's not working for me. I experience a lot of internal unrest, a lot of I feel worthless, I feel useless, I'm useless because I'm not doing something. So the anxiety that comes from thinking like that, and a lot of boredom. I actually feel boredom, and sometimes it can be rather painful if you don't know how to deal with the feeling or experience it and that it's okay. I experience my life slowing down a lot. So I tend to do things in a lot slower manner, I give myself more time to think, to really feel if this is what I have energy for the day. I also just notice, a lot more, like to see the fear, to see the anxiety a lot more sitting there, that I worked to kind of keep at bay. And so I'm no longer, I can't run away from what I'm feeling and experiencing inside. And that's one of the biggest thing is I have tools. I have tools to start working with these, and I'm developing new tools to start working with these inside and develop a relationship with myself. And so that's some of the things that I'm experiencing with this too is a major growth in myself as far as just self-knowledge. And I give myself a lot of space, a lot of time to learn what things actually work for me and what doesn't. And also to start allowing my creativity to open up. That's where it comes from, into the boredom. You give yourself that much space to let yourself open up and show you what to do. So there's a lot of ups and downs that come with the decision I made. And sometimes it feels agonizing to deal with that every day with myself. I've come to the conclusion that I still need to exercise. Not just exercise, but movement. Get outside. Be outside. There's some times where I could spend several hours just being outside, and that helped bring me more clarity, more peace within myself. I still kept busy. Keep busy. Don't take your time and rest. You definitely want to rest. I rested. I did a lot of resting, and that was actually very hard to do. Being so used to working and trying to be on top of things and carrying all the plates, the spinning plates in there, with life in general. So we're learning how to rest is a big part of quitting for me, and then also the ups and downs, the feelings. Not everything's okay, and then the adjustments and the learning that I've made in my relationships, and seeing, because a lot of people work a lot more often, that I do need to fill my day with something, because a lot everyone's working, and that the progress that I'm making in being alone has helped, is a really big chunk of it, to really learn myself, to know how to work with myself. And some natural things started happening out of that. Breathing work, meditation, these things are just starting to happen more naturally as I've made a lot of space for them to start happening. Things that actually help me. So you also might want to know my current trajectory, interest, ideas, directions. That's still an ongoing process, that direction. I realize, for me, the direction is online business, is online videos, is online education. It's taken several months, a lot of space, a lot of living life and making space for this to come through with me. And I had to quit my job to start seeing that. Just to really start seeing that about myself, that I wanted to go this direction. I ignore the more subtle part of myself that says, I have an idea. We just need to take a step there. And I wasn't taking those steps while I was working. So for me, quitting the job helps me give myself more mental space to start taking those steps in the direction that I'm wanting to go. And so my current interests are, I want to get back into art again, and I want to start doing more textual art. I have ideas for other videos, and start sharing and sharing my experience, and sharing and answering questions about things that people would want to know. And also, I am taking the online business trajectory, but it's right now my first step in that is just starting YouTube. I just need to be committed and consistent in my video creation. And so that's my current trajectory, is to start in that direction. So I hope this video helped you helped answer questions and different things. Like, this is what I'm experiencing as I go through these. I didn't go into depth of a lot of the feelings and the ups and downs, and a lot of the tools that I use or what I've learned and figured out in that area. I really wanted to share quitting my job without a backup plan, and because it can be really scary, especially if it's something new that you're doing. Newness makes the unconscious or the part of the brain have fear, and it's how you deal with that. And doing what works for you and what makes you comfortable, like, that's important. It's very important. Everybody has different types of plans when they go through this experience of quitting a job without a backup plan. And it's going to be different for you too. You just have to do what works for you. And sometimes what works for you is a lot different than what works for other people. We all have different resources. We all have different backgrounds. We all coming from different places. And yeah, that's important to keep in mind. So I hope this helped in any way. If you have any questions, comments, hey, leave them below. I will do my best to get back to you on that. See ya.